Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attacker Productions. Today, Banker, I'll be joined once again by Jimmy, Jake, and like always, Fluff.
Are you sure?
What's going on, y'all?
What's going on, beautiful people?
And today's matchup is one of our finals. It is kind of a rematch, but with a different deck. It is Fluff versus Jimmy. Jimmy's brought back Cell. Just really good deck. You see it everywhere right now. And Fluff decided to bring U7 Goku. Let's get into today's matchup.
If you're sick of this deck, blame Bancroft because he's lazy.
Yes, blame me because I didn't have time to make a deck for you.
Exactly. Yeah, I took apart all my decks in preparation for the new set, and I was like, well, what am I going to play in the meantime? I'll buy 2 starter decks, and then now I'm public enemy. Everybody hates me.
Yeah, because this deck's awful to play against.
I mean, yeah, but I told Bancroft, if you don't want to play against anymore, build me a new deck, and he didn't build me a new deck, so blame Bancroft for this.
It's okay. I came prepared, so all the feedback that I had received from the community was just like, ugh, red just instantly wins against it. I don't know, that deck's not a problem. Just play against it. Just beat it. So I built Universe Set.
Yeah. And this right here, I was not letting Fluff cheat. I knew he needed everything he could get against me here. Fluff was forgetting his discard. How dare him?
It's okay. I just discarded one. And then played the other.
Yeah, exactly.
So initially, you put 6 cards you dropped just in, right? Because that burst one to play it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I said, the discarding effect doesn't really matter in this deck. Like, at all.
So in this particular matchup, we do best of 1 sides at our locals. I wanted to try something a little bit different because I knew I was not going to be able to keep a regular 8-drop cell. I'm forgetting the name of the blocker that can restand itself. I'm forgetting the name of it.
We know what you mean.
Yeah, the one that's ran in the deck. So I put in the alternate 8-drop for the list that also comes in the ultimate deck and also the old starter deck one, which is just a 8-drop 20k that KO something on entry, which I thought would be useful for clearing U7's board because they can get a wide board and some problematic cards like the Frieza and the Android 17. But also on swing, has an auto that it can negate an opponent's attack by pitching an 18 out from under it, and then it plays a 4-drop out from under the 8-drop. So I figured U7 has a lot of negging. I'm not going to be able to use the permanent on the other 8-drop for anything, and it's usually going to get blown out before I can block with it anyway. So I thought maybe a little bit more KO potential. Maybe I get to negate an attack. Would be fairly useful. But I do think that was a wrong side. I think I cited that was a poor side on my part, because being able to just attack twice and be aggressive instead of defensive with the regular 8-drop, I think is much more valuable in this.
Yeah, even if you only get 1 turn out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's really difficult to tell before you're actually like in the game and seeing the cards played against you, like in practice, you know?
Mm-hmm. Plus, I like the funky interaction of that negate being an auto. So you could counter with something like Dormant and then resolve the auto, so it basically makes Dormant a negate. That's really funny to me. So I would like to pull that off one day, but I don't think I'm ever going to side this 8-drop again because it's kind of ass cheeks, to be completely honest.
Kind of not great.
Maybe if the Ultimate Spirit Bomb Goku, where you can't block against it, like maybe that's when I side that in when that card's relevant.
The green one?
I think it's blue. I think it's like swing with it combo with like 5 cards from your energy and your opponent can't block the attack, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't fucking remember. Nobody plays the card. Everybody just played UI Sign.
Oh, yeah.
This felt a little bit awkward having to Awaken then play the Unison. I didn't have it in hand, so It was kind of an awkward turn, but I knew with my hand that Fluff could not kill me. So I was not going to say completely fine, but I was comfortable.
Yeah, I know with this Unison now, I'm going to have to try to play around and anticipate that you got a charismatic villain in hand. So I'm a little weary of that coming down the pipe. I was happy to see on my last turn that when I crit you, it hit a Wicked Rejuvenation.
Yeah.
I was very happy to see that.
Kind of opens up your play lines a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks losing those. I run a 2 of, and there's no good way to fish it out other than just drawing a shit ton of cards, which the deck likes to do. But losing one that quickly and knowing that one is out of the game pretty much is kind of rough.
Again, I milled 2 Vegetas on the leader's activate main there, which sucks. Because those cards are really valuable for trying to get rid of the 4-drops. Unless I want to waste attacks trying to get those. The 4-drops aren't putting a ton of pressure on me. And I know that there's a chance that I want to be able to swing into this Unison and at least push this Unison back a turn.
Mm.
Yeah, sometimes removing one marker buys you all the time you need, because where it comes down at 2 and it has a -7, it gets kind of awkward if you start removing markers from it, even just one at a time.
I also really, we've said it before that this Unison is just, it's perfect value no matter what, because if your opponent lets you build markers on it and you -7, it's one of the best effects printed on any card in this game. And if your opponent sinks a bunch of attacks into it, that's just less pressure off of your leader. And I it's not the exact same, but I say it's pretty much, if you have 6 markers and your opponent attacks it 5 times, you negated 5 attacks with a 2-drop Unison.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because you don't need that Unison to win the game. You need 2 out of 3 things in the cell deck to win the game. And it's any combination of those is what works, or what wins you the game. So if you attack into my Unison and kill that out, I'm completely fine, because I can just fall back on the other 2 options. And that gives me more time to set up for those 2 options. And knowing that U7 and the way it is and the way it operates, the secret rare is going to be a part of the game unless it's the last card in the life. It will be relevant. It will appear in the game almost 100% of the time. And I know its effect is that it just wipes the Unison. So I was already not focusing on making the Unison pop off in this matchup, just because I know the secret rare exists. So here we see the 8-drop putting in a little bit of work. Cell does have a lot of KOing power, basically with the leader and charismatic villains, and then for 2 or less, the Dormits can do a lot of work. But there's not a lot of on my turn without my opponent, not non-responsive KOing is what I should say. Yeah. Where the 8-drop, I can just drop that and KO something without my opponent having to attack or play a battle card. So basically just gives me a secondary leader effect, which I thought was very strong in this matchup, and I still think it's strong, but probably not worth it. Maybe in this matchup, I side one of these 8-drops in, just if I have a problematic card.
Cell is, you already kind of mentioned it, Cell is so good at removing cards that you've pretty much taken care of my field despite everything else. I did respond with that Goku there just to prevent you from going up another cell chain. So getting rid of one of the cells felt really good.
Oh, well, you hit the 17 and 18.
I hit 17, 18. Yeah, that's what it was.
Which is just a 10k crit. So at this point in the game, that is just completely irrelevant. But the activate my hand of pitching under my leader and drawing a card, so replacing itself is nice. And all night, that card has been fantastic for baiting out some sort of counterplay. If you watched my match with Bancroft, you would see that he was very, very happy to respond with Android 13s on that. But then what I was doing is both effects trigger both the 1-drop cell and the 3-drop at 17, 18. I would just play 17, 18 and go like response, and 99% of the time the player just responds to that. And then I'm like, okay, resolve the next auto, and then drop the 1-drop cell.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it in our matchup.
Yeah. But
I do need to check the number of cards in my drop area here. I am thinking about going into the secret rare. It kind of puts him on a how many negates does he have? Can he put me under dormant this turn to stop the secret rare? If not, I could potentially kill this turn. I wasn't sure what was in his hand or the quality of his hand, so I do decide to go ahead and go for it. I know that it can't get charismatic, even though he can drop a charismatic off of this to pop the other Goku. I'm okay with that. Which he does decide to do.
Yeah. I knew my field was going to get blown out, and I was going to lose the unison. I probably wouldn't establish another unison, or at least I wasn't planning on it. So I just went ahead and blew the charismatic load when I could. Because at that point it either just becomes charge or a 5k combo.
Mm-hmm. There's also almost no point in me swinging with lead this turn. I can't remember if I do or not. I know I go ahead and just activate main on the unison. We're going to crit one of his life. We're going to blow out the entire field. Just get a ton of value off this Vegeta. I initially put it in the drop area. Then I do end up putting it in a quote-unquote removed from game pile. So you'll see me move it out of the drop area there.
Yeah,
Oh, go on.
To say, so many of those secret rares have weird clauses about certain states when they get removed from the game. It's hard to remember which is which.
Yeah. And I haven't activated the leader Sparking 20 ability yet to add any card from drop area to hand. I had the secret rare in hand from the beginning of the game.
I think you did it last turn. You brought the 8-drop Goku to your hand.
I put the 8-drop Goku in hand.
Yeah, you did.
Couldn't remember if I did that next turn or if I did it the turn prior.
And I think that's why it didn't matter where you put that Goku when you got KO'd, because I think it's in the other discard pile now.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't matter. The drop area doesn't matter anymore. I don't have to activate the burst effects anymore. I've pretty much resolved everything with the drop area that I need to.
Yep. So I did say I didn't plan on putting out another unison. But after looking at my hand, I kind of realized like maybe I probably should, just to get a draw off of activated Union Fusion on the 1-drop, and it also allows me to put the 1-drop out for free. Of course, it is in rest mode, but there's no point in swinging into Fluff's life and just giving him an extra card to kill me with. And I was just hoping the 8-drop doesn't come out and just straight neg out the cell, because I would like to have used the negate on the auto.
Yeah. I remember at this point I was watching the game right before, or like right after you played that 8-drop, I was watching the game and I was like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. You know, this looks like a really embattled game. There's going to be a lot going on here. And, you know.
That was a hand, though. 2 super combos.
Yeah.
And the practically a 10k, because I think it gives itself the Dr. Android 20. Does he give himself an extra 5k boost?
That's only on your turn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So at this point, like, losing the super combo sucked, but I knew I was going to get to draw 2 cards, and I was just hoping for a Wretched Regen. That would have been like the absolute most important card, or a Homicidal Clones. Would have also done me pretty well. I did have to combo off Xenocell, which really sucks, but as you see, I tapped that energy, so I did not receive a Wretched Regen or a Homicidal Clone, so I ended up having to take the 2 damage. They were absolutely nothing, and I hit my Dormant there, which totally negates the attack, as you remember.
Yeah.
And then it actually has a secondary effect that if you take your last life with it, your opponent reveals their hand, and you get to just keep one of those cards. So I forgot to actually grab the card. I want that SPR of the Realm of Gods fluff. So if you can pull that out of your deck for me, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I got you.
I think the wording on Dormant is you actually get to take it home with you. It's really weird. It's like anti in old school Magic.
Middle school Pokemon prizing. It's like, I get your cards.
Yeah.
I don't think that's how prize cards work.
It didn't, but that's how people try. No, it's elementary.
No,
That's how people try to play it for some reason. Like, it's my prize. It's like, yeah, okay, fuck yourself. But with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed today's matchup. There's buttons down below and on the screen. I'll flip. Does the outro.
It was a very hard fought match. I do feel a little vindicated building Universe 7 specifically to beat Cell, and then having beaten Cell there. So the deck is definitely beatable, but it's still a grindy ass game. Definitely not one that I enjoy playing. Read your cards, know your plays, let us make the mistakes so that you don't have to, and as always, fluff out.